Witness the blue lights around you, mixed with gold and turquoise surrounding you, pouring down on you like a shower that you shared with us for an hour. And though sometimes it feels like it's fading, I know you won't let it all disappear. Your love is the essence, it burns incandescent. Your love is a lighthouse, my dear. Your love is the essence, it burns incandescent. Your love is a lighthouse, my dear. We need the light shining eternal, most especially when things get infernal. When things get all battered and shattered, lost in darkness, that's when it matters. And though sometimes it feels like it's fading, I know you won't let it all disappear. Your love is the essence, it burns incandescent. Your love is a lighthouse, my dear. Your love is the essence, it burns incandescent. Your love is a lighthouse, my dear. Your love is the essence, it burns incandescent. Your love is a lighthouse, my dear. Your love is the essence, it burns incandescent. Your love is a lighthouse, my dear. Alright, so I'm going to get started with the Astrodoodle. I only do them once a week these days, obviously, because I only do the one show per week. It would be great if we could do something every day. It might get a little repetitive, but anyway, at least we're here now. So, let's see, hello Tina, I see you. I've already got a couple of bookings in advance here, one from Necessary Truth and another one from Mr. Ross. And I can take maybe two more, I would imagine. It's still very early. Let's wait for see who shows up. Yes, certainly, Tina. We can do that. We haven't done that in a long time. That would be very interesting. We are in very interesting times, that's for sure. All right, let me get on with the Astrodoodle. And we'll do that over here. Okay, so you have to chat amongst yourselves because it'll take me a few minutes to get this thing rolling. Okay, give me a second here. There's why is this not coming up? I'm going to try something. Okay, let's try that. No? Okay, there's something wrong with the music programming here. Let's blame it on Mercury retrograde. How about that?
That's the way to go. Wow, we are really having problems with... Okay, this doesn't make any sense. Give me a second. Okay, there's something... Okay, anyway. Alright, this is something screwy going on with my computer. It's my computer, that's the problem. And I don't have any quick way to fix it, so I'm just going to carry on anyway. Oh, that's interesting. I just finished the Astrodoodle. Yeah, I'm here, Tina. Yeah, got it. No worries. Thank you, Tina. I like that. Look at that one on there. Look at the chat. Look at that one. User not found. Scorpio. Hello, user not found. So anyway, here we are, very early October. And you can see there's going to be a lot of big changes in this month. It's going to be a very dynamic month. We've been dealing with retrogrades, big walls of retrograde for months now. Okay? Months and months and months. And now it's culminating up to the total of 6 retrogrades. Look at that. Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. All of those are retrograde right now. We are right here. Okay, we're right here. These are retrogrades over here. Now in a few days, Pluto, we're actually Pluto stationary retrograde right now, but we're going to be going direct. A few days later, Saturn's going to go direct. A few days later, Jupiter's going to go direct at the same time that Mercury goes direct. So in about 3 weeks, well, 2 or 3 weeks from now, we're going to enter this new territory over here. Okay, so I don't know. In some ways, I would say brace yourself. The nearest way I can describe it is like last week. I was talking about how there are so many retrogrades. It feels like there's 5 lanes of traffic this way, 5 lanes of traffic that way, and everything is gridlocked. In fact, it isn't just gridlocked. Everything's actually to the point where traffic isn't even moving. So you might as well just get out the car and wander around, enjoy the environment, really do some homework and deep diving. But eventually, like what happens in traffic situations, you start to see little signs of movement here and there, that things are going to edge forward, especially at nighttime on interstates. If they're big hilly interstates, you can see like these waves of red lights starting to change and switch off and on and on and on, and you can start to see these big ribbons of light moving forward, and eventually that forward motion comes to where you are sitting in traffic. So right now, that's what's happening. We're at that point where all of us on planet Earth, if we're paying attention, we're going to start noticing that there's going to be this, like a sense of movement in life going forward again, having had to deal with a lot of, I guess, issues or matters that a lot of people just don't want to deal with. But the whole point of the retrogrades is to, help us to grow by, well, it's not, but they don't force us. The planets don't force you to do anything. It's actually an opportunity. So the opportunity to grow by doing a lot of deep soul searching, this is the time right now, more than ever before, right now, taking a good look at your life and your world around you, assessing everything, and then figuring out what left or do you still have to fix, and worry about that in the next cycle. But for now, it's time to get back in the car, settle in, turn the engine on, make sure everything's working properly, and get ready to start moving forward in life again. Okay? Hello, Karen over there in New Zealand. Hey, dear user not found, please educate us. I would love to know where you are. Sometimes we have folks from all over the planet here. Anyway, so yeah, we've got all these retrogrades, including Mercury. So Pluto's going to go direct soon, and that's going to bring some very profound shifts and changes to the global economy and the way global politics and economies are going to start advancing. My personal feeling is that what's going to happen is it's going to become very apparent to the whole of planet Earth, to the whole world that we are in a big, enormous pile of doo-doo, and we've been scammed the whole way. No doubt there is a bug, but no doubt it's not naturally occurring. It's made by humans. It's the weaponization of bugs. It's the most powerful weapon you can imagine. Anyway, so another thing that's happening, I don't know if anyone noticed, but Pam Gregory, she has her YouTube channel, and she posted a little video about the Pluto return for the United States. We've been talking about that for a long time, but finally someone's actually putting it out there. I've noticed also online that there's a few places that are offering some notes about the whole thing to do with the United States and the massive Pluto return as it relates to the United States, because what happens here in the United States is going to have huge ramifications for the rest of planet Earth, as you know. We've talked about this many times. So here's the United States. If you think of all these different countries and locations as people, and they have their own astrology charts, it's the same thing. United States has an identity, and in its identity it has a birth chart, and it just so happens that it's coming up to its first Pluto return ever. So that's about 250 years ago. We're looking at July 1776, but also 1780, when was it? No, I think it's 1776, 1780 something, when 87, 89, when they actually rewrote the Constitution. And so when you look at this time period here, you have to give a lot of years, like 5 or 10 years each side of the Pluto placement. Okay, so back then Pluto was at 27 degrees Capricorn. We're now at whatever it is, like 24 retrograde. But now it's going to go forward again. Anyway, so starting at the end of this year and for all of 2022, we are going to be transitioning over the Pluto return of the United States. That's a 250-year cycle, and it's going to change the whole of planet Earth, politically and economically, and there's no way out of it. Everybody on planet Earth is going to be affected, whether they like it or know it or not. A lot of signs are already appearing, have already appeared, because, as you know, we've been talking about this for years. I wrote a book like 6 years ago depicting the time of January 2020, which is the moment that the bomb dropped. And here we are closing on towards the end of 2021, and we've now seen the ripple effects, the shock waves of a weaponized virus that has been propagated across the whole of planet Earth. It's absolutely mind-boggling, and we're dealing with it. And it's all planned out. So it's very much targeted here, especially because the people who are weaponizing these bugs, their goal is to destroy the spirit, the agenda, the Constitution, the humanity, and the love that went into the birthing of this amazing place that we call the United States. The biggest obstacle to the enemy is this place here, and all the amazing people here, the amazing diversity, the amazing skills, talents, abundance, and wealth that we have here, which is primarily a result of the deliberate formation of a country and a population that abides by this thing that we call our Constitution. There's nowhere else on earth that has it. There are other places that are similar, and they model themselves on what we have, but none of them have what we have. And so this is now the enemy, okay? So we'll see what happens, because this is not going down. All that's going to happen is that things are going to change, okay? It's going to be the death of one version of America, and it's going to be the birth of a new version of America, okay? And I'd like to be optimistic. I'd like to believe that the new version is going to come through about a 25-year gestation period. You know how elephants gestate for whatever it is, 18 months or something? I'm allocating 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I'm in my own brain, I'm allocating the whole of the cycle of Pluto and Aquarius here. So as Pluto moves from here to here, okay, it's going to be whatever it is, like a 20-year period, 24-year period, something like that. And we're all going to witness this massive convulsive change. Because when Pluto goes into Aquarius, however destabilizing things are or appear to be right now, it's going to get a lot more unstable as Pluto moves through Aquarius, okay? And that's to do with the United States South Node Aquarius, and it's also to do with CHINA Ascendant Aquarius. As you know, these two entities here and here are closely bonded astrologically. It's like a very, very sick marriage. It's a very strong marriage, but it's also a very, very sick marriage. Anyway, we're going to see it all unfold. It's going to be radical. It's going to be transformational, especially in terms of global finance. The whole of the world of global finance is going to change forever. Okay, let me go over here. I want to visit with you guys. Hello, this is Lumination. Greetings. I'm up in the space station right now. I'm just taking a little broad perspective view of planet Earth right now, but I'm focusing in on the United States just to get a little bit of perspective. We were just talking about the Pluto return for the United States. We're heading into it right now. And if you start looking at the charts for the end of this year, but also January, February, March next year, and then on into July. Frankly, the whole of 2022, I don't know what the details are going to be like, but it's going to be massive transformational changes. And then that is going to have, like the lava flow coming out of that volcano in Canary Islands, that flow is going to continue. It isn't just going to go blip. Oh, there we go. America before the Pluto return, America after the Pluto return. Seriously, the actual event of the United States Pluto return is going to feel to us as human beings like a 25-year cycle. A couple of years heading into it, a few years absolutely on the point, and then about 15, 18 years on the other side of it, especially when we go into Pluto and Aquarius. Okay? So I'm just giving everybody a heads up. There are massive global assumptions that are going to implode. It's mostly to do with global finance, the global financial infrastructure, the financial modeling that we have in place right now. It's considered a little bit stale, but it's very, very deeply vested into the whole of the world economy. And it's owned and run and operated by a handful of people. The people at the very, 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 very top who own and run the world, there's about 75,000 of those people. And they are all involved in the mass global corporatocracy and the oligarchs that run it all, and especially at the core, the banking system, which is primarily modeled on the United States Federal Reserve System. So all of that is going to be shaken to the core. It's going to be completely and utterly shredded. and out of the old comes the new. So it's going to be a very interesting time for all of us. I'm doing whatever I can to prep. In my own way, I'm like a financial prepper. And I'm lucky to have friends who are also sort of preppers in their own ways too. Because things are going to get pretty bumpy. We're going to be okay. But for some people, it's going to be really a really rough ride. A lot of people are going to get destroyed financially, including banks and bankers and funds, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, there we go. Enough doom and gloom. Hey. This is Lumination. So let me see. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare everybody. Okay. Alright, let's go back over here for a minute. Alright, let's just put this aside. So we've already got a booking lined up for Necessary Truth. We've got one for Mr. Ross. And Tina Miller has actually sponsored a group reading for everybody. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Frankly, I don't know if I'll be able to do any more readings on top of that anyway. So let's just leave it like that for now. Okay. Group reading. Thank you all for being here, by the way. Let's just put this over here. All right. So, there we go. All right, let's have a look, people. All right, lovely job, lovely job. Cheers, everybody. Having a little refreshment. Some of you have been here plenty of times before, but if there's new folks, for example, user not found, I love knowing, I like knowing where the visitors come from. I'll just, so that you understand. So, we know that Tina is right now over here in South Texas. We know that. Olson's up here in the Northeast. Karen is over here in New Zealand. Heather Mocha is up here in the Canadian West. And Necessary Truth is up here in the Northeast. And let me just see if Ivona is here. No, I don't see Ivona on it. Say. Okay. Hopefully Ivona will be around later. Anyway, so user not found. If you're still around, please give us a clue where you're located. I'd love to know. Sometimes we have people from over here in England or Europe or Austria. I've had people from South Africa, South America, Australia, sometimes from India, Libya, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Canada. We've had folks from all over the planet. It's lovely. Lovely feeling. All right. Hi, Heather. All right, let's have a look. Let's just dive right in. Why not? So, dear Necessary, if you're still there watching, or if you're relaxing, getting settled, if you have a particular topic, just let me know here in the screen. Otherwise, we'll go blind. If you want to invite, is it Chris and John? Either or whatever. Please let me know. Feels like they're kind of on standby anyway. Alright, let's have a look. I'm just going to shuffle it all up, okay? So give me a second. I got to actually clear this deck. I really need to... I mean, it's already very well shuffled. I just want to make sure for real. Okay? Alrighty, let's dive in, shall we? Give me a second here, I just want to clear something. Okay. Alright. Oh, no I didn't. Hold on, give me a second, necessary. I need to go back and check. Okay, this will take a few moments, everybody, so please be patient while I dig in here. Okay. Okay, let's, hold on. Oh, gosh, we do have other readings. Oh, my gosh. Hello, Sarah. Sarah's putting the kids to bed. And let's have a look. Alright. Goodness. Okay, I didn't notice that, Sarah. I'm really glad I had actually. Glad I checked in here. Okay, we got Tina. Thank you very much. Super duper. And looks like I got some notes here. Yeah, hold on. I'm just double checking. Got it. I've got you over here, Mr. Ross. Thank you so much. And yep, got that. Got that. Got that. Okay. Alright, so we're good. Wow, I'm really glad we jumped in there and checked on it, because otherwise I would not have spotted Sarah's donation. Thank you so much. That's going to be it. I won't take any more readings tonight. There's no point, as I won't be able to handle it. I wish I could do more, but those days are kind of gone. And we still keep going. Alright? No worries. And we'll just go over here. And I have to shrink these. I'm just playing with all the bots and everything. Actually, John. Okay, you've got it. No worries necessary. I see the notes there. Do-be-do. Okay, let me have a look. I have to do some fancy juggling here with the technology. Ba-da-ba-da. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Give me a second, okay, necessary? I'm just checking things. No, I don't see anything on text, okay? Hello, Robin? Oh, wait a second. Hey, necessary, I have to go jump back in again onto all the emails. And I'm not sure if I do see the bunch of notes. Hold on. Give me a second. I can see the donation, no problem. No problem. Okay, I don't have that. Sorry, folks. I'm doing some homework here, and hold on. Okay, so dear necessary, I don't have any notes here regarding the dreams. Okay, there's nothing that's come in here, and I don't see anything on the phone. So, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Open reading. We'll bring John in. Okay. Okay, so Sarah Lake Mitchell is out there, but she's actually working with the kids right now. Okay. Hello, Robin. I see you. Hang in. But I'm not going to take any more readings. I know it doesn't look like much, but this is how things are now with the channel. So we're going to start with Necessary Truth. Then we've got another reading for Mr. Ross. We're going to do a group reading. Thank you, Tina Miller. And then Sarah Lake Mitchell is going to have a little reading as well. Alright, cards are well shuffled. Let's bless this deck, bless every single card. I mean, let's bless the artistry. You know, it's just mind-boggling, the beauty of these cards. It never, what's that expression? Never ceases to amaze me. The work, the beauty of the work that goes into these cards. And how they are, I don't know, so, to me, they're so effective in terms of telling stories. Okay? So, Love Triber was we were talking the other day, and we were talking about all these different ways that people sense things. Hold on, I haven't even said hello, have I? No, I haven't. Oh yeah, we did say hi earlier. And we've been going through these periods like of extrasensory perception, like things have been super amplified, super heightened, where you start to become aware as a human being that there is more going on besides what you see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. Okay? There's all of that stuff that goes on in here inside the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is very much like the human eyeball, but it's buried right in the middle of the head. It's very, very similar in design. It has all these cones and rods type things. But instead of being tuned into the visible electromagnetic spectrum, which is what our eyeballs are tuned into, it's a very narrow range, the pituitary senses a much broader electromagnetic frequency. We think of it as extrasensory perception, intuition and stuff. But what it is just a different sense organ that is programmed and formatted differently. So the things that we were talking about with Love Tribe are things like clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, and there's a bunch of them. But basically, like psychics and mediums. For some of you know, for example, that Necessary Truth is a psychic medium, and she's also very gifted with remote viewing. How can you explain that with logic? Well, you can't. The only way you can explain remote viewing is by allowing that there's something above and beyond our five senses. And once you make for that allowance, then everything makes total sense, okay? Anyway, yeah, we were talking about that. I have a mixture of things because I've had, like right now, you guys know me as someone who works primarily with tools. I use the astrology and I use the tarot. The reason why I do that is because it's tangible. It's something we can relate to. It's like having a touchstone in a conversation. But I've also functioned and operated by doing, let's say, connecting with our loved ones who have passed over. I'm connecting with animals. And doing it all in a way that you could call like remote viewing or being a psychic medium. Because I've covered all of those spectrums. But for the purposes of function and for myself to be operable, I decided to integrate with tangibles. The tangibles being the tarot decks and the astrology. Because then that brings everything down into kind of a form of comprehension. But for example, remote viewing, how do you explain that? But it's very real because I've done it for people and with people. And it's impossible to explain it with logic. But it's a very real thing, as Necessary Truth can vouch. Also, divine inspiration. Look at Einstein, E = mc squared. He didn't know that until he knew it. He was a Pisces, and he had a tremendous connection with the great beyond, with heaven. And he knew that if he put himself kind of in a highly receptive dream state, then what he needed to know would come to him. And he asked for that to come to him. So he was a genius in understanding how extrasensory perception works. There's so many different ways to look at it. But anyway, it all kind of melds into one thing. You could call it high sensory perception or extrasensory perception. And one of the beauties about those frequencies is if you are interested, you can activate the healing power of love, and it can work through you and your body, and you can become an instrument of the healing power of love, where you can actually transmit healing energy in real time over great distances. And again, that's extremely hard to explain. But again, because I have been a recipient of remote healing, and I've also been a donor of remote healing, I can tell you that it works. I can't prove it. There's no point in trying. I'm not even going to try. It's what I've noticed in this world, the frequencies where we operate here, like everyone who's here tonight, in some way or another, you are high sensory perception beings. Okay? Is it clairaudience, clairsentience, spiritual understanding, a sense of compassion and love that flows through you, whatever it is. We're all aligned at those kind of frequencies. And then you get to this point where you realize, oh my God, there is so much more going on besides what we do on our smartphones or our computers, our businesses, our conversations, eating, sleeping, reproducing, protecting, defending, entertaining, resting, healing, all of that. One of the things I can vouch for it is that remote healing is very real. It's very, very powerful. And the question is, are you ready, willing, and able to receive the healing power of love? I've learned that I have to make an effort. I have to actually invoke the healing power of love into my life from up above. Otherwise, you start to take everything for granted and you assume that your physical reality is the 100% sum total of reality. But there is so much more going on. The beauty of the astrology and the tarot is that it's like a little touchstone. It helps you kind of get access to the wider perspective of what's actually going on there. Thank you, Necessary. I see what you're saying. There are things happening today in the global financial system that are just mind-boggling. It's technological, revolutionary innovation. This has happened many times before, but this one is happening in our lifetimes. All of us are born and raised in a lifetime where we use these bits of paper. And we have things called banks and bank accounts and mortgages and credit cards and debit cards. But there were times where things were very different. Gold, silver, barter, all of those things. There was a time before there was even paper, but people still managed to trade. People would still find a way to have a form of equal exchange, value for goods, goods for value, and so on. And we're witnessing the birth of something new, and it's to do with all these cryptocurrencies, and you can't switch it off. And what's happening? We could probably do videos about this for years to come, but what's happening is that the global financial system is built on a massive, let's say, illusion. And what's happening now is that we have a new form of money, or transactability, human to human, that is contemporary with our global expansion in terms of electricity and technology and intercommunication. It's very much to do with the Aquarian themes. So guess what's going to happen? In a few years from now, we're going to actually be in the cycle of Pluto and Aquarius. It's about, I think, an 18-year cycle. We are going to witness mind-boggling changes in the global financial system. And it's very, very important that each one of us gets on board now and becomes, let's say, fluent in this new system, because it is completely different. It completely upends the status quo. We're going from a world of money that's illusionary into a world of money that is exact and pure. The nearest thing we've had to that in human history is gold. But even gold is being made redundant now. It's mind-boggling what's going to happen. Maybe we should do a show about all this. All right, anyway, sorry. Let me get on with the reading. Sorry, I just started ranting there. Yes, it says here, look in the chat, Jeffrey's saying, Nikki is talented. It's actually scaring at times. Yeah. Yes, it is very hard to explain. All right, necessary. So it sounds like you wanted to work with John, and we'll do a blind reading, okay? That's fine, okay? I see your notes. All right, I'm just going to do one last second little mini shuffle, and then we're going to go for it, okay? Excuse me, don't look at the jumpers there. I don't do them. Ivona, where's Ivona? Ah, I see you. Hi. Just have to clear things up here. Okay, I think we're good now. Yes, excellent. Okay, what kind of messages do we have tonight for necessary truth when we bring John into the equation? Alright, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Now we're going to look at the surrounding environmental influences. Of course, as always, I default to the planets. It's basically sacred geometry. And it's always there for our best outcomes, no matter how it feels. Alright. So we have the Emperor here. What I'm sensing, necessary truths, is that you're in a situation where it's not just an opportunity, but it's an obligation for you to, I would say, kind of do a power grab. Take complete command and control without any apologies or explanations. It's just that, to me, the way I see it is you're at a point of ascension. Okay, in case everybody is not aware, Necessary Truth is actually a psychic medium. She's also very skilled at remote viewing. We're talking about skills and experiences that, for most people on planet Earth, it's extremely rare, and it's very hard to explain or prove. And yet, here we are. I know for a fact, because I have enjoyed the skills of Necessary Truth, I know what it's like to experience remote viewing with Necessary Truth and psychic readings, okay? It's just amazing. That's just how it is. Now, with John here, to me there's a very serious tone about this. Nothing good, nothing bad, just serious, okay? And there's a very strong Capricorn element going on. So, right now, we've got a kind of a mixed bag. There are some harmonious energies. Believe me, there's some serious harmonious energies when you look at the looseness, okay? Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. There's a lot of harmony going on there with the air signs regarding communications, okay? You also have a Yod going on over here. This is a finger of God. It's a really big one. It's a very powerful one. And it's to do with the connection between the sextile between Jupiter and Aquarius and Chiron and Aries. You take those together because this is a quincunx, this is a quincunx. And when they form this particular piece of sacred geometry, they call it a finger of God. And they call it that because it's kind of like an unavoidable pressure point for everybody on Earth. Everybody on Earth is supposed to be looking at the part in their chart which is roughly 8 degrees Virgo. The finger of God happens to be on the moon. But with the Virgo energy, the idea is that it is very, very, very important right now for all of us on planet Earth to start looking at our lives, our surroundings, our incredible good fortune and connection with humanity and allowing our sovereign selves, like, what role are we or you going to play in this big, massive, epic movie that is playing out across the world right now? What is your role? And the fundamental, most important part of that role, indicated by the finger of God here, is that we all make a very high priority about making it our business to clean up the planet, clean up our behavior, clean up our belief systems, do the work, do the chores, do the duty. Now, Virgo is a very dutiful energy. It's not seeking glory and fame and wealth and results. It just wants to get done what has to be done, especially for planet Earth. Okay? There's a lot of harmony here between Moon and Virgo and Uranus and Taurus. But the Yod here, the general emphasis for the whole of planet Earth, is that it's time for us to have a very, very, let's say, an honest look. We know everyone's been talking about climate change and all those things, and what are we going to do because the whole world is grossly overpopulated, and it's showing all the characteristics of grotesque overpopulation, just as if you're looking at a factory farm for beef, pork, chicken, turkeys, salmon, lobster, oysters, tilapia, whatever. It's grotesquely overpopulated, so it's like swimming in your own poop and pee. So, what is that to do with necessary truth over here? But the way it looks to me is that however you understand this necessary truth, like what is your role to play, it becomes like it's a really top priority now. It's like, as far as I know, you come from the Pluto in Virgo generation, okay? There are a lot of people who come to this channel who come from the Pluto in Virgo generation. That would mean that when you were born, Pluto was in here somewhere, okay? So, with Virgo aligned with Pluto, it's very, very much about, let's get on top of this, people. And to do it seriously, it means looking at your own environment, your own personal world necessary, where you just focus on the details of your world and make it as healthy and pristine and functional as humanly possible. In other words, you're paying very close attention to your diet, paying very close attention to your health, what you put in your body, how you metabolize things. And then that's the most important thing, because love thyself, number one, because then you own that energy and then you can propagate that outwards. It may not make much sense right now, but it feels to me like the Emperor energy here is like saying you're not allowed to compromise or tolerate or endure anything that you would consider toxic or contaminating into your life. And that could be people, chemicals, foods, locations, attitudes, belief systems, anything that is toxic to your abundance and health and ability to flourish. It has to be literally exterminated. Another message I'm getting here is that you are going to be entering a time soon. I think this is a long-term projection where you're going to come more and more into your own power. You are already very well defined and highly evolved by any measure, but we're taking it to the next level where you don't have to, let's say, apologize for who you are, what you do, how you do it. You just do it. You just live it. You just be that. And if anyone else can't handle it, that's their problem, okay? Your job is to be you more than ever before, okay? All right, let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay, so I've been dealing with this energy with several other people in my life recently where I've been doing private readings and so on. A lot of people are feeling grief right now. It's becoming a very prominent theme, energy in people's lives because they are seeing and witnessing in real time that they have given and loved so much already, but there's also some tremendous pain and loss. Okay? And at the personal level, my feeling with the Five of Cups here is that obviously a lot of people don't like the experience of grief. They don't want the experience of grief. And so if that experience or frequency comes into their life, there's a very high possibility of wanting to like shun that energy or put it off or pretend it doesn't exist or ignore it. And that to me would be very dangerous. Like with the Five of Cups here, it looks like it's very important. If there are parts of your life, yourself, your deep self, where you know there are, let's just put it this way, as human beings we are finite, okay? We're here, we're born, we live, and then we die. We get to a point where we realize there's only so much you can do. There's only so much that you could have done to get to this point where you are right now. And yes, there might have been a lot of pain and loss and failures. But the show is not over. Okay? There is still a rich, abundant life ahead here. Okay? After you cross the bridge. But you can't get across that bridge until you have, let's say, accepted and understood the grief. Now the grief here, okay, I'm just going to, so necessary. To me it feels like the grief is that you're realizing there's only so much you can do. And you've already done the best that you can, and you always continue to do the best you can. But with the Virgo energy, remember, I believe you come from that generation, the Pluto and Virgo generation. The energy of perfection and demand for perfection is extremely high. And so I've noticed this with a lot of Pluto and Virgo folks, is that like, no matter how they try, no matter how far they go, there's this feeling that things are just not quite right. It's intense frustration, like, it's not perfect. And that's very, very painful for the Pluto and Virgo generation. And if you deny that pain, you're burying it. And then you have to reveal it to heal it later on or in some other lifetime. So the healthy thing about this Five of Cups right now in this reading is that, let's say you do a really honest, exact self-assessment, self-appraisal. It doesn't have to be anything to do with what I know about you or in your readings. But deep down inside, there would be an aspect of yourself where there is a lot of pain that perhaps is not being acknowledged or allowed to come to the surface. You've got to reveal it to heal it. What I'm sensing here with the Five of Cups is that this is a tremendous opportunity to reveal something so that it can be healed. And like if there's some very, very deep wound, very, very, very tender, that you've held on to for most of your life, this would be a great time to let it come out, acknowledge it, look at it. It could be something to do with your childhood or the way that you were raised by your primary parental figures, or loves that you've had and loves that you've lost, love that you've given where there was no reciprocation, and so on and so on. It's important to get that out because some of that stuff is incredibly painful. and it needs to be brought out, like to be released. What's the challenge here? Okay, so with the Fool card here at this position in this reading, this to me would indicate a tremendous fear of the unknown. So we're dealing with the Uranian energies and the Pluto energies, okay? Because there's going to be such big changes going forward. You can't actually, let's say, I just saw something in the screen about role. What's my role? The role is not yet defined. You cannot define the role without going through this very deep personal experience of self-healing. It's a very Pluto-Uranus type of dynamic. And guess what? It's a very common saying, fear of the unknown. For many, many people, fear of the unknown is so powerful that people will completely cripple themselves, shackle themselves to the existing status quo and insist that this is how it is and this is how good it's going to get. And in that way, avoid having to experience the unknown, or in other words, the other way to look at it, to evolve. One of the problems about ascending or ascension, I learned this from one of my dear friends recently. She's very, very deep into the astrology and how that shows up on your charts in terms of spiritual ascension, spiritual evolution, spiritual growth, like your growth from heart and love and compassion to be a fully loving being on this planet. The actual path of ascension can be very painful. It's like the higher up you go, in some ways, the more painful it is. I remember many years ago learning with yogi, a lot of people who come into yoga thinking that they're going to ascend and everything's going to be lighter and fun and more breezier. So that is the outcome of having ascended, and you've gone through the pain. But what they don't tell you is that to get to that point where it's like the unbearable lightness of being, you have to go through these levels of evolution which take you further and further into the unknown. Okay, look at it this way. Oh, actually, let me get that other chart, see if I've still got it. Hold on. Okay, for a lot of us function here at this level. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, maybe a little bit of Jupiter. That's what constitutes our day-to-day life. But a lot of the things to do with harder things to understand, like destiny, future, career, spiritual evolution, karma, all those things are more closely related to the outer planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And frankly, the farther that you go out in our solar system towards Pluto, the harder and harder it is to understand these energies and to integrate them into your life so that you are not a victim of these energies, you are actually in harmony, in the flow. All I'm saying is that it's not an easy journey, because the farther that you go out into your spiritual evolution, you're going deeper and deeper into the unknown, deeper and deeper chasms of darkness, more fear, more shadows. But that's where the love lies. It's when love thyself. It means making it your personal number one duty to love thyself. So you make it your commitment to follow that path. You go on that journey, no matter how frightening. You just do it anyway. Like, my God, there's no compass, there's no guide, there's no guru, there's no flashlights, there's no nothing. So you end up having to trust yourself going forward. And so you end up doing what I do sometimes. I just kind of give up and I just pray. I just say, dear heavenly angels, spirit guides, and like for you, necessary, could be Chris and John, please guide me, please protect me, because I don't have a freaking clue of where to go next. And then you go to the next step where you assert, I am guided, I am protected. You might not have any facts to prove it, but when you make that declaration, so it is spoken, so it is done. You are guided, you are protected. Just know that as truth, okay, dear necessary? You are guided, you are protected, even though you may be frightened about what lies ahead for me. Because everybody on planet Earth is going to go through humongous changes. Looks like Necessary is doing a side reading on the side there. That's amazing. So how are we going to do this, Necessary? John is right here. To me, it feels like he's right here, and like we're right on it with this stuff, okay? It might sound like we're coming at your reading with broad strokes and, no exact details. But that's what this is about. It's about getting you into a really strong place of literally minding your own business. It's the Virgo energy amplified many times. How do we deal this? Okay. Well, to me this looks like energy management. That's one of the words that I use when I'm working with people doing private consulting type of things, where I don't use words like, oh, you have to, be more godly, or you need to pray more, or whatever. I just think of it as raw energy. And energy management is literally looking at your world in the physical sense here in this Virgo life. Virgo energy is very physical. It's very much about dealing with scientific facts, scientific reality, and measuring things very accurately and very, very carefully, and then abiding by the facts, abiding by the truth of physical reality. So, like, example, pentacles for money. If there's something out of whack or out of alignment in your personal finances, it's very important that you start dealing with this. If there's something out of whack, again, physical material things, your diet, okay? Physical things like the home, your actual physical dwelling, okay? We said diet, but also daily habits, that Virgo energy. Habits are habits. You can have really good habits. You can have really bad habits. Having really good habits is an amazing way to function, an amazing way to live, because what that means is you've actually taken a firm grip and control of things in your life, and you've switched them on to autopilot, like good habits, like, brushing your teeth every day, things like that. Making sure you have plenty of fresh water every day, things like that. You take it to the point where everything is turned into a good habit, and then you put all those good habits onto autopilot. So, with the Two of Pentacles here, the way to handle your situation, to me it all boils down to just this very fleeting moment in time where we can look at your reading and just take a little message from here. The best thing to do right now is to carry on with your life, allow things to come to the surface that need to come to the surface. You need the revealing for the healing. Understand that you are guided and that you are protected, even though you might not have any physiological sense or clue about what is the next big chapter in your life. You go forward anyway. You do not apologize. You wear the garb of complete command and control, even though you might doubt yourself, even though you might be scared. And in effect, what you do is you make it your business. You make it your business to every day deal with every tiny detail as it comes up. If it's not something that you can deal with at that moment, then you put it aside. It's very much to do with what I like to do for myself in my personal life, where I have this habit. I'm not perfect at it, but it's like I call it clean as you go. For example, washing the dishes, or a laundry, or a relationship issue, or a financial issue, a credit card, a bill, a payment, anything physically measurable in your life. Oh my God, I'm supposed to reconnect with so-and-so. Whatever it is, you do it in the now. Like, oh my God, I don't really want to do my laundry right now. But you have to do it. And so what happens is you allocate everything in a very Virgo-like manner, where everything is done very systematically. Like creating lists is a very, very good way for energy management. Have you heard of Richard Branson? He's a multi-billionaire, very successful. One of the most key things in his life is that he likes to create lists. What am I going to do today? I'm going to get up. Oh, I'm going to phone somebody. Oh, I'm going to email there. I'm going to go and have words with so-and-so who's trying to mess me over. The next thing, I'm going to take a break. Next thing, I'm going to start planning my new space trip in outer space. And so you do that. And then 4 or 5 hours later, the list is thrown away and a new list is created. A new list is amended. And you do everything in the now. Like, oh my God, I can't go here, I can't go do that because I've got a conflict schedule, blah, blah, blah. So you fix it now. So in other words, it's like living a life where you almost leave no trails at all. You can have a very big, grand life, but you don't leave a trail of destruction and mayhem and chaos that needs to be cleaned up later. You go forward in life with a very, very advanced, highly efficient energy management system, which is what I call clean as you go. I hope that makes sense. Like, whatever can be dealt with in the now, do it. Okay? Got it. All right. Thank you, Necessary. I hope that makes sense. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Necessary. Mr. Ross, you're up. Okay, we're going to shuffle up here. Okay, let's have a look over here. All right. All right, here we go. Mr. Ross, you're up. Let's have a look here. All right, cards are well shuffled. I don't think I did the little prayer earlier, but I like to, invoke the attitude of gratitude. I like to bless these cards like I have the power to bless them. Whoa. Bless these cards. Bless every single card. Bless the artists. Bless the artistry. The paper, the chemicals, and the machines that make these things. It's absolutely amazing. Bless the cameras and all the lighting and the technology, the broadcasting softwares, multiple layers of broadcasting softwares, the music softwares, the ability for us to communicate across tens of thousands of miles in real time, all across the world. It's mind-boggling, It's just mind-boggling to me. It never ceases to amaze me that we can do any of this at all. Well, a lot of times, of course, we take it for granted, Send an email here, goes to Austria or England or South America or wherever. It's still a freaking miracle. We couldn't do that 20 years ago, 25 years ago. All right, Mr. Ross, you are up. I hope you're feeling better. I think, if I recall, you sent me a note earlier or early last week or something, and you said things were pretty good right now. So I'm really happy for you. All right, let's have a look. Go, Gregory. Stage fright. Oh yeah. Well, stage fright in some ways is a very good thing to have. I had a part of my life, a history where I was on stages a lot, doing music and concerts and pop music and rock music. I am performing, lots of lights, lots of cameras, big sound equipment, and I spent 20 years working in TV and movies. And that was all before I started this channel. And I understand stage fright. Especially if you're working with a movie crew and there's 100 people and all of them are highly paid. And then it happens to be your one little moment where, let's say, you are on camera. It can be very unnerving. I have seen some very major actors become completely unglued under the pressure of the lights and the requirement to perform according to the script, according to the director, according to the storyline, in order to tell a good story, Anyway. Mr. Ross, don't be scared. This is just Terra Lumination. It's just a handful of us. Most of us know each other here. We've hung out before plenty of times. I was trying to find out what that, anyway, they never responded. There was that Scorpio person earlier. I guess they departed long ago. Anyway, so Mr. Ross, if you have a particular theme and you want to put it into one word, help yourself, put it on the screen. I'll see it in the chat. And otherwise, I'll do a completely blind reading. Again, viewers, and if there's viewers out there who are watching but they're not typing in or participating, some of the people here tonight have been here before, many times before, and we sort of get to know each other. But over the years, I've developed a practice where I do not store anything, or I store as little as possible up here, and on my computer systems and my cloud drives and hard drives and all of that. Because what it does, it creates like a burden of expectation from the past that, you know, seems to impact the future. I would rather just work with the now, the here and now. Like, forget the past, forget the future. What's going on right now? That's where all the power lies. All of our power, all of your power lies in this very moment right now. And the way you activate that power is through the healing power of decisions. Decisions are made here through a combination of like raw animal instinct, raw conditioning from your childhood, but also conscious decision making that can sometimes conflict or override all the unconscious or preconditioned decision making habits. And what I like to do, I like to get into a position in myself where I'm so neutral, I'm not worried about the future, I don't care about the past anymore. All that counts is now. The healing power of now. All your power is in the now, in this very, very moment. What are you going to do with that? Okay? Oh, just hold on. What was that, Tina? TL, do you have the Uranus-Pluto conjunction in Virgo? No, I don't. No, Tina, I don't. I'm completely on another whole other spectrum. I'd rather talk about that in private, okay? We'll do that another time. It's just... Right. All right. Oh, Maria. Hi, Maria. I didn't see you there. Hi, Maria. Yeah. All right. So anyway, we're reading for Mr. Ross. Mr. Ross is center stage right now. Here we go. Oh, look. My glass is empty. This is a problem. How are we going to solve that? Okay, we're going to fill it up. But actually, we're going to fill up a different glass with a different fluid. Thank you. Look at that. We got the whole bottle there. I will tell you, Tina, that I do have a very, very important Virgo aspect in my natal chart. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, your patience. Cards are well shuffled, okay? Actually, I didn't even finish that blessing. You know what? I was talking about all the cards and the technology, the artistry and everything. But I wanted to say thank you for the lights and the cameras, the computers, the internet system, the internet provider, the microphones, all the connector cables, everything that allows this little thing to happen. There we go. All right, now we're good. Now we're clear. I'm doing a very extreme cut. There we go. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. We're going to look at sacred geometry, the external influences. All right. So we have Two of Cups here. My feeling with the Two of Cups here is that let's kind of depersonalize this a little bit, because this is kind of like an external vibe. Let's go back to the planets here. So this energy is very much about relationships. Okay? The ability to love and the ability to be loved. The way that works is be loving, and then guess what happens? You can be loved. Be loving, be loved. If you are loving, you are loved. Now, it doesn't always work out in the way that you want it to or expect it to, but it is an absolute truth, law of physics, that when you are loving, you are loved. It's literally just planting seeds. It's good old-fashioned energy management. And so with the Two of Cups here, my feeling is that it's a really good opportunity to look at your life and your world, just have a glimpse of it in terms of relationships. There's a really strong axis here in terms of relationships. It's very active right now. Sun, Mars, and Mercury are all in Libra. And very soon, we're going to have the Libra new moon. Okay? That Libra new moon is actually coming on, I think it's this Wednesday, the 6th of October. So we're going to have a 4-planet cluster over here in Libra. And that's all going to be opposing Chiron and Aries. It's all going to be heavily squaring Pluto in Capricorn. It's going to be sweet for the Gemini stuff, sweet for all the Aquarius stuff. But anyway, for you, Mr. Ross, my feeling is to it's like, let's just say over the years you've built up a lot of habits which you could call your daily practices. Okay, I get up, I do this, I have a blah blah for breakfast or a snack or an energy drink or something, and I sometimes brush my teeth, and then I do my chores or this or that, I take care of the pets, the neighbors, I go for a walk, whatever it is. You have your habits and you have your life history, okay? Life history that you have built up over the years, living in your different locations, working with different clients, all of that kind of stuff. And all of that is kind of imprinted onto you, and that gives you a sort of an identity, a character, a profile. So we've already talked about that in our private readings. But what I'm sensing right now here is that let's take all of that, okay? All of your whole life experience up to this moment in time right now, and the question is, with the Virgo moon here on this huge finger of goddess, what are we going to do with that to make the best of it in terms of like perfection? So the way I see it here is that, it's obvious. We look at the subject of relationships. We might as well, because it's very dominant energy right now. So it's like looking at the relationships that you have in this world, maybe with just one or two, just a very small handful of people. What I'm sensing here is that this actually has a very wide spectrum of meaning. In other words, it's time to look at your world in terms of the intricate details of relationship dynamics between yourself and a very small number of key characters in your life. And just like have a look at those relationships. What is the nature of this relationship? Like a partner, or a business relationship, or a community relationship, or a romantic relationship, or a financial relationship. What is the exact nature of those relationships? And once you have, let's say, put the spotlight on those relationships, then, like I said, what is the nature like? Is it a healthy relationship? Is it dynamic and loving and functional? Is it redundant? Is it unhealthy? Whatever it is. It's really, really important to take stock of your relationships. Not whether they're going to be happy or sad for you, but in terms of the actual, what I just described. What is the nature of these relationships? How they pertain to you and how you pertain to them. And what is there inside those relationships that needs cleaning up? In other words, wow, do I need to apologize to somebody? Oh, do I need to completely eradicate somebody and completely delete them from my social media? Or do I need to invite somebody in that I know that would be good for me and I'm good for them? Whatever it is. The Virgo energy here is very, very strong. This is a very, very short, fleeting energy, okay? This is happening right now. But the implication really is about the relationships. Taking stock of relationships and taking stock of also, okay, here we are. In the last few days here, okay, we're already at the 3rd, and by the 5th and the 6th, Pluto's going to go direct. And by the middle and the end of the month, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are all direct. And the only things we have left to deal with would be the Uranus and Neptune. So what this is telling me to indicate to you is that it's time to do a last-minute assessment, a last-minute evaluation, reevaluation, diagnosis, analysis about your life on the broader scale in terms of relationships. Okay? Relationships with your bankers, with your city, your community, your loved ones, your family, business partners, all of that. And it's almost like laying it all out on a desk, kind of like what we do here, examining each thing, like what needs to be dealt with this relationship. Oh, I need to apologize. Oh, I need to get in touch with them, catch up about this, blah, blah, blah. All these little tiny details, but they do make a difference. Clean as you go. All right. What's the situation itself? Okay, so with the Empress energy here, my feeling is that you're enjoying a kind of moment of abundance where it's like, wow, I have lived long enough as Mr. Ross. I have endured so much pain and suffering, but I also know what it's like to feel good. I know what it's like to be loving and be loved. I also know what it's like to be on the receiving end of not being loving and not being loved. And yet you still go forward. So with the Empress here, my feeling is that you have the right to look into the mirror and kind of acknowledge that, wow, I really am pretty freaking awesome. And I am very creative. I am very, let's say, okay, fertility is a big issue here. Fertile in terms of being able to, you know how it's like offering services to people? Relationships. You to them, them to you. You have a lot to offer. You have a lot in terms of like, you still have a whole life ahead of you. No matter how old you are right now, there is a whole life ahead. I know you've had a real health issue recently, but you're obviously recovering and you're going to be okay. And looking forward, it's almost like, oh my God, this is one of those rare moments where you can think like, wow, I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to have all my senses. Like most of my body parts are still working okay. I still have years ahead of me, in front of me, of abundance and, let's say, enjoyment. And that is my right. And that is my, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the right word. It's like, it's almost like destiny. It's like you have a right. You're at a point right now where my feeling is that if you wanted to, you could kind of very, very gently recalibrate yourself by doing all the homework that I talked about over here. Recalibrate in such a way that you could actually enjoy your life more, being more loving and being more loved, where you can start to see like, wow, this is a formula. This is like a magic trick. It really, really works. Be loving, be loved. Like, okay, with clients. As far as I recall, if I recall, you had a big win recently where you became like the talk of the town, and you were center stage. Spotlights were on you, and you did a very good job, and you helped a lot of people. Okay? Well, to me it looks like there's more to come. It may not be like repeats of what you just enjoyed, but what it looks like to me is that you're at a point in life right now where you deserve to feel good. You have been loving, you have been loved. You are loving and you are loved, but now it's time to re-examine how are we going to take that to the next level so that you are loving and you are loved, but heading into new territories. So with the Empress, it's like you're already most of the way there. It's a question of acknowledging it. It's almost, oh God, I'm just going to have to do this personally. Okay, so what I'm sensing here for you, Mr. Ross Gregory, is that it's like it's time to tune into the good stuff, okay? Because you have been such a champion of the underdog. You have been helping so many people who can't help themselves, and you've been successful at that. In terms of relationship dynamics, it's time to balance things out where it's okay for you to like enjoy things a little bit, like kick back a little bit, like, wow, I really am a good person. I really am a good man. It's actually true. I am loving and I am loved. I speak truth. Truth dissolves lies. Wow, it really works. Not all the time, but in your case it did. It still does. And so that needs to be acknowledged, where you can kind of look in the mirror and go like, wow, I really am. I am kind of special in my own way, in my own little world, with the relationships, like the local barista, the local community, the local heads of communities, all of that. You're kind of something. You're kind of special. Might as well enjoy it, Okay, now what's the problem here? Okay, so I got the Five of Cups. To me, it feels like this is kind of like almost like a big chuckle, like a personal thing between you and me, Mr. Ross. It's just like, oh my God. I know what you're talking about, Tarot Illumination, but seriously, I wish I didn't have to wake up every day feeling like I have to go into the battlefield and compete and constantly prove myself. I've kind of already done that. Am I going to be living the rest of my life where I constantly, it's a never-ending game where it's like it gets boring after a while. It gets really, really tedious. Like, oh God. Every day it's like, that's the fear. The fear is like, oh my God. Think of like an athlete or a performer where like, oh my God, I have to do so much training and so much blah, blah, blah work every day just for that one moment in the spotlight where I actually have to deliver. It can be really exhausting after a while where you're constantly on the go, on your game, on alert, ready to play, ready to engage, ready to go to war, ready to win, ready to do what has to be done, ready to be the hero. The reality here in this reading, it feels like it's like, you know what? It's kind of getting old. It's kind of getting exhausting. It's kind of like, I want to step back a little bit. I want to have some just comfortable, delicious, worldly fun in my life right now. All right. Let's have a look. How are we going to deal with that? Oh, good. So we've got the Page of Wands here. So with the Page of Wands, this is really, really encouraging. To me, this is like a breath of fresh air. Okay, so look at it this way. In a few days, all right, today is 3rd of October, all right? In a few days, around the 6th, the moon is going to move from Virgo into Libra. New starts, new beginnings, Libra, Libra, Libra relationships, okay? And also around the 6th, okay, okay, Pluto is going to go direct. I would use that as a moment of new starts and new beginnings. It's like, oh God, finally, we can move forward. Pluto's been retrograde for 5 months. You think Mercury retrograde is difficult with 3 weeks? Look what you've just lived through over the last 5 months regarding the deepest, sometimes most painful parts of your life. Okay? So anyway, look at it this way. With the Page of Wands here, what I would suggest, what's coming to me is that you've got a few days. You've got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and most of Thursday, to start planning, like, maybe sketching out some notes. What's my next chapter going to look like? It's going to be very much about sorting out relationships, okay? The Two of Cups here is very closely to do with this huge pile of huge pile of Libra energy over here. The house of relationships, the sign of relationships. So it's full on relationship dynamics. The way forward to get the most advantage out of the astrology and out of this mini tarot reading is to start tearing your world apart, looking at your world from the point of view of relationships, perspectives. Like, make a list. I love to make lists, literally. Make a list, like, of the top 10 most important people in your life in terms of just, not that what makes you happy, but the people that fill up your agenda. Okay, there could be like a cluster of people that I don't want anything to do with them. Okay, but there could be a few people that I can't wait to get things on with them. Okay, so you have to deal with both. So going forward, start planning so that when you hit the Libra new moon on the 6th, by the time you get to the 7th, 8th, and 9th, you're already starting to look forward to a couple of weeks of reorienting, reprogramming your relationship dynamics with these key people. Like there's a list. Pretend you've got a list, okay? This person, they just have to go. It's going to be awkward, very uncomfortable. I'm going to have to be blunt. I'm sorry, I can't help you anymore. This person, sorry, I can't help you. This person, wow, we need to talk. Oh, wow, I really enjoyed hanging out with you. Do you want to meet up again? Wow, we need to take care of some very complex business stuff. Let's sort that out. But it's like going through a list, okay? I don't have a proper notebook here, but here's what I do. Hold on. You see these little pads? I use a lot of these. And I make lists. I go blah, 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 blah. And it's clean up as you go. Okay, let's take care of this one. What's the issue here? Okay. Awkward, uncomfortable communications. Okay, we're going to deal with that. Next one over here, like, oh, I need to say thank you to so-and-so. Okay, we'll deal with that. Oh, I need to catch up with my negligence because I should have paid a credit card bill here with that person. Oh, I really need to be honest and open with my affections about this person. Oh, I need to check in with this person. There's a big question mark, like, could you please help me, tell me what is actually going on here because I'm confused. Whatever it is, it's like, figure it out Virgo style by lists and apply that to the world of relationships and make it your business, your project going forward for the next couple of weeks is to really clean up, do a cleanup campaign, tidy up the whole world of your relationships, like your email lists on your browsers, your email services, on your social media. Just, get rid of stuff that's irrelevant. Focus on stuff that is relevant. Clean up as you go, and that will help you to enjoy this part of your life so much more. In other words, make it your business. There's no one else who's going to do that for you. So for the next few weeks, you make it your business to do that. It'll just help you to enjoy life better. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ross. I hope that helps. Something coming in there about a consulting business. That sounds really exciting. All right, we're going to do a group reading now. Oh my God. I haven't done one of these in a long time, so please forgive me. Sarah, I don't know if you're still putting the kids to bed, but this is going to take a while to do this reading, and then you're up, okay? Well, I'll try and get... Hey, Sarah, if you are short on time and you've already taken care of the kids and you want your reading now, we could do that in front of the group reading. Just let me know on the screen. If I don't see anything in the next 30 seconds or so, I'm just going to take it that you're still dealing with the kids, and then we'll just get on with the group reading, okay? Okay, I got to shuffle up, people. I have to seriously shuffle up. Shuffle up, shuffle up, shuffle up. Alrighty. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Thanks for your patience, Sarah. Alright, we're going to do group reading, people. Oh my God. God help us. Oh my God. For the group reading, I use the Tarot Lumination heart spread. Okay? Because it gets down to the very, very, very core. I guess I'll have to explain it as I go, because I'm literally winging it, people. I haven't done this in a long time. I already shuffled the cards really well, but I need to feel like very calm and comfortable, okay? Alright, here we go. Alright, Tina, let's see what we can do. So I'm probably going to cover up the whole screen. So this is for everybody, anybody and everyone who's watching. Okay, right here at the very center is the heart energy. Tina, I'm going to have to move all this stuff. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh boy. The heart knows what it needs. It knows what it wants. And sometimes there's a communication barrier between the heart center and our like waking consciousness. Here's the energy that we're bringing in with us. Think of it like what's in your wallet? What's in your, like you're going through a security screening system at an airport or something like that. Or yeah, that's the best way to think of it. Like what are we bringing with us? I have to use the word we because it's for all of us. What's in your pocket? What's your baggage? Okay? And what about now? What's happening right now? Okay? All the power lies in the now. Okay? There is so-called a past, there is so-called a future and everything, but the power is in the now. A lot of people do not feel comfortable with this energy because it means they have to deal with the raw, brutal reality of now. Sometimes that reality is so beautiful and so overwhelming, we can't accept it, we can't believe it. Sometimes it's so ugly and horrible and painful, we can't accept it, we can't believe it. So we push this away like it doesn't exist. And we start projecting towards the future or defaulting and leaning on the past, assuming that the future is based on the past. And it's not. The now is constantly and permanently in a state of flux. And the way we access our power is through the phenomenon of decision making. Here. It's through the phenomenon of decision making that we activate, access, and ignite our power. And then we end up with like, how are we going to do that? Exactly. Tricky. And let's just say, like, we're all supremely spiritually advanced and we figured out how to do that. And everything just is wonderful, it works out fine. Then what does that look like? Now, that's difficult because, okay, so what does that look like? How does that, like, it's kind of like a party trick, like a magic trick. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. So, where does that lead us as you come out of the very, very brave, bold process, scary process of actually making a decision and putting energy behind that decision. What does that look like? Now, over here, this is the energy of what does it look like when we kind of all default to, let's say, instinctual behavior, where we're not conscious of the now, or if we are conscious of the now, we're not willing to deal with it, so we just default on ourselves. We ignore everything in here, and we just, default to the status quo, or what somebody tells us to do, that somebody seems more powerful and more important or more knowledgeable than we are, and so we take that all for truth and for granted. A lot of the time that's not true, okay? And sometimes it's, well, not sometimes, but it's very, very common for us to give away our power because we don't want to do the work. There's a lot of people, many people, the vast majority of people do not want to make decisions. They do not want to be responsible for their outcomes in their own life. They want to be led. They want someone to make the key decisions for them. They want someone or something to tell them what to do and how to do it so that they don't have to figure it out. And guess what? There are people out there who are extremely evil who understand this very, very well, and they take full advantage of your fear. Do you want to do you really want to live that way? No. I know that I don't. So what I try to do is I try to live in alignment with this energy all day, every day. I guess in theory, I should do one of these readings every freaking single day. Oh my God! You know what? I have to tell you. Sorry, I have to do this one little gripe moan thing. I'm sorry. One of the reasons I don't do a lot of videos anymore, which I could. One of the reasons I don't is that the algorithm is completely destroyed and broken for this channel. It's literally just like a twitching corpse. So there's not much. I'm okay. I'm still here, but it's literally I'm operating from a very limited function because the platform itself, Mr. U and Mrs. Tube, have put me kind of way out on the fringes. So, and the algorithms don't work. Like, if they decide that you're awesome, then the algorithm recalibrates itself, and all of a sudden you can be catapulted into YouTube superstardom and all of that stuff that goes with it. I'm not one of those, you've probably noticed. Okay, here we go. But anyway, we keep going. So there's a reason. In other words, I don't like the process of throwing good money after bad. The channel is not dead yet. Not yet. The channel is not dead, but I don't want to put huge amounts of time and money and energy into something that where the default setting is outside of my control and it is dialed down to here. Good point. So I don't take it personally anymore. This is just how things are. I like to make decisions. I don't mind being in the position of having to make tough decisions. I don't know why that is so. I guess I could if I wanted to get very self-indulgent and do a self-analysis on astrology, but I'm comfortable with it. But a lot of people aren't. A lot of people would rather subscribe to a belief system or a model or a plan or a modus operandi or a religion or a culture or a lifestyle where it's just plug and play. Oh, that's all I do. And then I am guided. They tell me what to do and how to do it. Not with Terra Lumination. I'm sorry, okay? All right, so anyway, let's have a look at the heart center. Oh, goodness gracious. Look at that. beautiful Ten of Cups is right at the center here. It's really like, it's very, very super, super, super simple. In this particular reading, for all of us here tonight and anyone else who watches who's not participating, what the heart really wants is to be happy. The heart, I'm hoping that most of you know what it feels like to feel good. Okay? Some people don't. I'm very lucky because I know what it feels like to feel good. I know what it's like to love and be loved. I have been very lucky to experience what it's like to receive the healing power of love. Okay? It's an amazing phenomenon. It's also very satisfying to be a donor, to be a transmitter of the healing power of love. But you can have both. Ideally, both happen simultaneously. Be loving, be loved. Being loving and being loved. That's all the heart wants. It's like super, super, super simple. Literally, be loving, be loved. Sometimes being loving is very inconvenient, very awkward, very uncomfortable, very demanding. But we love anyway. It's like a secret formula. And then it comes back to you anyway, like a default system. Like, wow, that's so freaking cool. And what I'm sensing here with this first card, it's just a simple reminder. That's all it is. Okay? It's all it is. That's the only thing that really, really ultimately counts, is be loving, be loved. Treat it as family. Just do that. If you want to go out and save the world, fine. But as you probably have figured out, some of you know me well or better, we've talked about these huge institutions, these big foundations, where they go around telling you they're going to save the world, they're going to heal humanity, and you're going to suck it up and you're going to enjoy it. The reality is that these institutions, some of them are extremely hollow, empty, and completely devoid of love. But they present themselves as these like foundations of salvation. It's all a big lie. What really, really counts, be loving, be loved in your own environment. Like with Mr. Ross, just deal with the people in your immediate environment. On your email list, your social media, your social contracts in your local town, your local community, your local family. Be loving and be loved. And you start from the core and everything emanates from there. Okay? That's all that's happening here. It basically means be loving, be loved at the very, very core. It could start with a pet, for example. If you're lucky enough to have a loving relationship with a pet, you know that pets are very, very pure. They're not evil by nature. Even a killer pit bull is not evil by nature. It's just that they're a killer pit bull. It's because they've been conditioned and trained by a human being to be a killer pit bull. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is that it's really, really simple. For all of us here tonight, focus on your immediate situation, your loved ones, and then be loving and be loved. And what are we bringing in with us? Okay, with the Hanged Man here, I'm going to go big and wide. My feeling with the Hanged Man is that we're all being presented with a mind-boggling scam that seems to completely contradict this energy. In fact, I just touched on it earlier, where we have these huge institutions and huge global leaders, I'm not going to mention their names, who allegedly have our best interests at their heart. They really love us. They really care about us. They really want us to be happy and healthy and fulfilled. And yet, I don't know about you, but what I'm sensing is that exactly the opposite is happening. It's like there's some kind of evil, satanic, demonic influence that is being propagated to us in the guise of something that's very healthy and benevolent, okay? So what does that do? It sets up an energy of deep confusion and dislocation within humanity. Like there's older people who actually believe in what is happening here is actually on planet Earth is for our benefit. And then there's all the other people here where I'm a member of the other side of the story, where my personal feeling is that we are being completely scammed and manipulated, controlled by a bunch of people who are presenting themselves as our caregivers, our caretakers, the ones who want to save us from a demonic evil presence. Whereas in fact they are the demonic evil presence. And so that's very confusing to our body, our mind, our hearts, and our souls. Understandably. So what about now? Don't worry, folks. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So, around, I think it's the end of 2023, we're going to be fully immersed in the new world order. Okay? And the new world order looks one way to some people and one way to some other people. The people over here who were involved in this global evil scam, they have a vision for the new world order, which is all about COMMUNISM, to serve them, okay? The same energy field, that beautiful divine Aquarian energy field, also has another way of spelling it. COMMUNITY. That's where we are, okay? Oh, Tina, your note. The Ten of Cups. This is what the heart wants. This is what the depths of our heart and soul wants. It's very, very simple. Are we listening? That's the question. So over here, about at this moment right now, this is where it's extremely confusing, because a lot of people across planet Earth are very, very confused right now because they're being told a story that doesn't quite make sense. Because the reality is a lot of people are being, I would say, infected, contaminated, manipulated, murdered by a certain group of people who are telling us that they're here to save us and help us, okay? There's another side of the story, in that there is hope. There is hope, people. Just because the power of evil can be so strong sometimes, it doesn't mean they're going to prevail. What can happen is the energy of the, let's say, that a very small bunch of evil entities, they're going to do whatever they can to propagate their agenda. But we, the people, they're still... Okay, look at it this way. I did some math recently. I've been doing a lot of homework and studying of these things. The people at the very, very top who want to own and control and dominate and manipulate planet Earth and humanity for their personal benefit, that consists of about 75,000 people. And those people are all the people at the very, 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 very top of the global cabal, whatever you want to call them. And I don't want to even say their names, but it's a very small number of people. 75,000 is still a lot of people. Okay? But this is a tiny fraction, because at the other end, there's this $7.5 billion, okay? These are the people who basically own and operate planet Earth. And there's the rest of us. Okay? What's happening right now is these folks are trying to impose their agenda on these folks. And there's enough people in here, just subtract this number, and you get whatever it is, 425 billion. 7.425 billion people are being farmed by these people. Okay? Luckily, some of us are aware of this, and it's not acceptable. So what are we doing? We're finding ways to deal with this stuff. There is hope, people. This segment of the global population is very, very tiny, but they have massive power, money, and control. And guess what? That's highly addictive. It's like fentanyl, okay? They have so much power and money and control, they can't help themselves. They're just doing what they do. And all they want is more power, more money, and more control. And the way they do that is by exerting more power and control over we the people, so they can get their money and their power and their control. It's really, really simple. Okay? But over here, Terra Illumination, it doesn't have to be that way. Because we have hope. Okay? There is hope. Okay? There is hope, people. But you have to be aware that there is hope. Let's have a look at the healing power of our decisions. Okay. The thing about the situation is that it affects all of us deep down at a very personal, private level, where there are many of us walking around the planet right now feeling like we have nowhere else to go. And in a way, that's true. Ultimately, you have to figure it out for yourself. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I have to make a freaking decision. I can watch every freaking YouTube video about how wonderful things are going to be with the New World Order. And then if I choose to, I could believe all that. And if you do believe all that, you would be, I would say, really seriously harming yourself, or you've made a decision to believe all that, because it's so much easier to believe all that rather than see through the lies and the fraud and the fakery of all of that. And so you're left with like, oh my God, it's still me. It's still just me against the rest of the world. What am I supposed to do? How am I going to figure out where do I belong? I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision. The whole of humanity has to make a decision. But the thing is, humanity is made up of 7.5 billion individuals. Okay? So at the collective level, we need billions of individuals to make a decision that the evil agenda is not acceptable. And I think that's what's going to happen. You know, I really do. I believe that out of 7.5 billion people, there's going to be enough of them to basically create a counter effect to the very, very tiny number of people who actually have all the money and the power and the control. Things will balance out. But it's going to be a very radical, asymmetric kind of war, okay? It's very, very scary to get to a point where you realize, oh my God, my whole destiny is up to me. My whole experience of life going forward is up to me. I can either choose to make decisions or not. If I choose not to make decisions, you're isolating yourself into the world of, I don't know what to call it, evil. If you choose to make your own decisions and you choose hope, there are others like you, okay? There's you and me, there's others, okay? But we're still ultimately individuals. You have to make your own decision. What I'm noticing over here in sunny Las Vegas and with a few people in my own life, what I'm starting to notice is that there are people who have confided to me indirectly without noting that they're confiding, is that they have been tested for this bug. And they have been injected to counteract the bug. And they've done that in a very loving, honorable, consensual manner so that they can live their lives. And they're not aware or concerned about the good or evil. They're just concerned about how am I going to live my life. Oh well, I have to get a test and I have to get an injection. And so they go forward. But there's a lot of people who are not really keen on that idea because frankly none of that ever had to happen in the first place. And so you get this incredible dichotomy between, like I have I have a couple of dear friends, okay? And I know that they are very loving in their own way. And I love them in my own way. And I know for a fact that some of them have taken certain tests and they've had certain injections. Personally, I'm not so keen on that idea. But what I'm noticing is that it's like, oh my God, I love this person, and they are completely on the opposite side of the spectrum to me personally. And so I tend to keep my own profile kind of private, because if I share it openly, then I'm subjecting myself to judgment, and I don't want that. So I'm trying to conduct and live my life. Live and let live. I'm not stopping people from getting tested. I'm not stopping people from getting injected. The real problem is that I don't like that this is being imposed, enforced as a weapon. That's where I have a problem. Okay? Some people are happy to go along with it. It's just like, okay, well, we just got to do what we got to do. I got to get my test. I got to get my injection. Okay. Anyway, that's up to you. That's up to you, the individual. You find out who you are. Making decisions is sometimes very tough. How do we do that? Okay, with the Seven of Swords, to me it feels like, I'm sorry everybody, it's up to you. You have to make your own decision. If you feel, like for example, I feel a bit of this myself. I feel like sometimes I'm acting in front of certain friends and family where in order for me to continue how to have a healthy relationship or have a relationship at all with certain friends and family, I have to act and carry myself as though I'm somebody who would automatically want to be tested and injected. Now, that's me lying to myself. That's me lying to myself. And I make a decision to do that in order that I can get on in the bigger world of society. But it's still a lie. On the other hand, if I just continue to live in my personal truth, and I go around yelling to all my friends and family who believe differently to I do, like, you know what? You're stupid. What do you think you're doing getting a test and getting a jab? You're stupid. Is that a loving gesture? Personally, I don't think so. So what I do, and what I think is happening here with the Seven of Cups, is that we have to make it very private and very personal in terms of how we make our decisions, because you can guarantee that if you decide that in order for you to live your life and go forward and to attain hope and keep going and everything, that you need a test and you need an injection, then frickin' do it. Okay? You don't have to brag about it, but just do it. If you feel that it's more appropriate for you to have no tests and no injections, then just do it. But you don't have to shove it down anyone else's throat. It's a private matter, because whichever decision that you make, are you pro this or anti this? Are you going to get your tests and your jabs? Are you not going to get your tests and your jabs? Whatever side you do, whatever decision that you make, you're going to piss off some people in your life. Some people are going to alienate you. You're going to alienate them. It's very, very painful. And so my feeling here is that we have to learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, as we sadly have to partly lie to ourselves and partly lie to each other. I'm not personally going to go out there and tell everybody my status or my beliefs, because I don't want to lose my relationships with certain people in my life that I love dearly who have completely different attitudes to myself. So it's very, very difficult. All right. Cheers. So what does this look like going forward when you actually understand the process of decision making in the now? Understanding that there is hope, that we're heading into a new world order, but we are being scammed and conned and manipulated along the way by people who tell us that they're here to save us. It's extremely confusing for the whole of humanity. So it would be perfectly acceptable and understandable if you are confused personally and you feel that you are lying to yourself, or that other people are lying to you, or you have to betray yourself, or you have to allow other people to betray you, or that you are being betrayed. Either way, we have to deal with this energy. It's here in terms of making decisions. What does that look like? Okay, so with the Knight of Wands here, the way it looks to me is that once you understand what I'm talking about here, then we are left in a position where we have to uphold ourselves in our true nature if and when or where or why or how we are ultimately called upon to do so. So, for example, let's say you're on this side of the fence and you realize, oh, I can't go forward unless I comply. I get a test or a jab, and you're lying to yourself. Or let's say, like, oh, you're over here, like, you folks over there, you're so stupid because you didn't get your tests and your jabs. You're harming yourself. Whatever decision you make, or whatever decision we make, but this is actually very individual decisions. Whatever we decide to do as individuals, we have to stand by that. And we don't apologize. We go forward anyway. Because the chances are, going forward, over the next few months, few years, we are going to offend certain people who love us dearly. And we're going to offend people that we love dearly. And we are going to be offended by people that we love dearly. But each one of us as individuals has to go forward anyway. Okay? I'm leaning very heavily on the Aquarian energy of hope for the future, where eventually over time love will prevail. To me, it does not look easy. It looks like it's going to be a very laborious, long, drawn-out journey to get back to here. What does it look like if you ignore all of this? Let's pretend oh, come on, Tower Illumination, you're a fortune teller. Why don't you just tell us what to do and how to do it, and how everything's going to be bad and how everything's going to be good, so that I don't have to think, or that you don't have to think. No, I don't do that. I'm just reading this raw as it is. So what happens if you, the individual, decide I can't handle this. I'm just going to get my tests and jabs. I'm just going to believe all the mainstream media. I'm going to go along with it, and there you go. I don't care anymore. What does that look like? For some people, that would be abandonment. Like some people I know, they are very strongly adhered to their belief systems, like no jabs, no tests, it's all evil. But can you see that's a very extreme perspective where you're locking yourself in and you end up confining yourself. On the other hand, there's the other people at the other extreme, like, you've got to get your jab, you've got to get your test. That's the only way things are going to work. Go, go, go. Both extremes are redundant. They're obsolete. But it's so much easier to align with one of the extremes because then you don't have to think anymore. Okay? Sadly, with this reading, what this is telling me is that for us here tonight, and perhaps for the broader audience, is that we're going to have to figure it out ourselves, each one of us, in the context of our loved ones. You know what? I never even looked at this. Give me a second. Let me look over here. Okay. So, thank God we have this Ten of Pentacles all around us. What I'm sensing here is that this Ten of Pentacles is very much to do with the hardcore reality of what this new world order is going to look like financially going forward. I'm not talking about the next few weeks. I'm talking about the next few years, the next decade, okay? And it's good. But what we have to do here in this reading is deal with the moment right here, right now. Right here, right now, the world is convulsing with confusion and chaos about what is real, what is not real, what is true, what is fake. The people who run everything through the world of fake energy are continuing to try to convince us that that's the way to go. Some of you, like myself, realize that is not the way to go. It's a massive fraud. It's a massive illusion. But to just switch from one to the other, it's very, very hard to do. We're all living through this together as individuals. This is... Thank you, Tina, actually, for booking this reading, because I think this has very far-reaching implications, not just for tonight, but I'm looking at this reading for years to come, okay? So what does it look like when we just basically abandon ourselves and we say, I don't want to make decisions. I don't want to live in the power of now. I've already decided that whatever they tell me on the mainstream media, that's truth. That's perfect. That's how it is. That's fine. Okay, can you see how that is a form of extreme spiritual laziness? Get it? On the other hand, if you make the decision to go very deep into what is a very, very difficult thing to deal with, then you are participating in the journey. You're part of the journey of humanity going forward, and that equates to hope. So there's two sides to this card. What are you forsaking, or what are you gaining? Okay, well there's a lot of serious girl power here with the Queen of Wands. My feeling is that, let's say you understand what I'm talking about in this reading, and you make a decision like, okay, I know what you're saying. I'm protesting, I'm pro-vax, I want to do all this, I want to go, I want everything to be great with the world. And you do it, and you realize, oh my God, it's actually not working that well. Okay? And then there's the other side, like, I am no testing, no vax, it's all evil. But we have to meet in the middle somewhere. And that's where we're getting all the chaos, okay? But each one of us has to figure that out in the decisions, in the moment, ourselves, on our own, in the now. And make your decision and then live by it. You're guaranteed to offend somebody. And then someone else is going to be guaranteed to offend you. Like, I was really, really shocked when I discovered the attitudes and the beliefs and the positions of my dear brother and one of my dear friends. But I don't hold that against them. I'm not going to fight them. I love them anyway. So with the Queen of Wands here, my feeling is that when you get a grip, when you fully understand this, you come into your power in a very feminine, graceful, compassionate way, where compassion is a form of power, okay? Real power. And then you execute that power. And you live that power. You live by example. We live by example. Okay, so my personal feeling with this reading is that we will come out in such a way that the evil will be exposed and will eventually be dissolved, and that we, the people, will eventually prevail. And then we do that, and we reconstitute ourselves. The way I look at it here is like reconstitute. It's like a renewal. It's like a rebirth of our Constitution as humanity. Because the United States Constitution is now a globally recognized business model for happiness. I hope that makes sense. The United States Constitution, this thing, this experiment called the United States, we the people, 1776 and all that, is kind of like a psycho-spiritual experiment. And it has propagated all over the world. And it works really, really, really well when you're in alignment with that model. And that model respects individuality, freedom, and that these rights are God-given. They are given as universal laws, universal truths, not given by some evil, malicious dictator, monarch, oligarch, corporatocracy. Okay? Sorry, it's not going to happen. So we're talking about getting back to our own sovereign selves here. If we neglect this, then this disappears. We end up becoming slaves. We end up becoming debt cows on a debt farm. Slaves on a slave camp. Okay? So to me, this is energy of extreme hope and ultimate victory. But again, this is a very long-term reading. Let's have a look over here. Okay, with the Nine of Wands, it's not going to be easy. What I'm seeing here is we're looking at least 9 years of pain and suffering ahead of us as we deal with all of this stuff. I'm not kidding, okay? 9 years, but we can handle it. This is like the energy of going to war, knowing that you're going to be at war, you're going to be taken to the limits of your ability to endure, but that you will endure. We will endure, but it is not going to be easy. Okay? I'm really, really happy to see all these wands over here. This is very, very encouraging to me. Humanity is not broken. Humanity is not destroyed. Honestly, I wish there were like 1 million people who could watch this reading right now, Sadly, there's what, 18, 20 people who are going to see this. At least we got this, but really, this applies to the whole of humanity. Thank you so much, Tina. To me, this is like a gift to humanity. This is like a little message from the angels in heaven above that we're going to be okay. But we are in for a massive struggle. And it's going to take all our courage, and we are going to maintain our courage against all odds. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, Tina. Let's put this away. I'm going to put on a little bit of music over here. I'll break this up, and then we're going to read for Sarah. All right? Oh, hold on. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. Sarah, we're back. Cheers, everybody. Alright. Okay. Alright. Oh, hey, Elizabeth! Hold on. Hey, hi, Elizabeth. It's too late. I can't do any more readings tonight. I've got one more reading, and that's with Sarah, okay? And so, Elizabeth, what we'll do is we'll connect like in the middle of the week, okay? Thanks for showing up. Hello. Alrighty. From the Terra Lumination Space Station. Sarah, you're up. So what I'd like to, I just want to hang out here. I've already shuffled the cards. Everything's in pretty good condition. Sarah, could you just type in on, let us know you're here. If you've got a particular issue and you can put it in what word, you can put it in one word, like, well, what's the messages that Terra Lumination has tonight for me through the cards regarding the subject of dot, dot, dot. Okay? All right? Yeah. So, all right, let's have a look. Okay, I'm just hanging out here. Oh, let me go back. Let's just hang out a bit, okay? Over here. So I just want to, I'm just hanging here for a minute because Sarah's got kids, and so she might have her hands full. And I just want to make sure that Sarah is present. You know, there's always a delay with these streams. Sometimes it's like 20 seconds, sometimes it's almost a minute, which is sometimes very frustrating when in a live environment. But you know, we can handle it. We've been doing this for quite a long time. Terra Lumination started in March 2017. Can you believe that? 17. 18, 19, 20, 21. So that's 4 years, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 4.5 years. We've been doing this for 4.5 years. It's been like this. Now, if Sarah doesn't show up, it probably means that she's completely wiped out. Oh, there she is. Ha ha. No specific issue. Okay, Sarah, we'll just do a complete blind reading, okay? We're just going to go big, go wild, okay? No problem. Hey, another, just a quirk thing. I keep forgetting everybody's locations. Sarah, could you remind us all again where you are? I know Jeffrey's in Ohio. Necessary's up in Brooklyn. Ivona is over in New Jersey. Alson's over in New Jersey. Tina's over in Houston. Elizabeth is in Los Angeles. Marina Del Rey. Who did I miss? Love Triber is in Las Vegas. And who else did I miss? I missed somebody. Travis. Who's that? Oh, Travis. That's Sarah's on her husband's account. Okay, got it. Okay. And there's Maria over there. Maria's over in Arkansas. Gregory's over there in Santa Fe in Mississippi. Wait a minute. Ibrahim Kalsikar. Hey, Ibrahim, how come I didn't see you earlier? Anyway, I'm sorry I missed you. Sorry about that. There's just one line on there. Okay. All right, so let's just, Sarah's here, so let's go for it. Okay, cool. All right. All right. All right, here we go. Let's get settled. The cards are well shuffled. I'm just going to do a last second. Canada near Toronto. Okay, thank you. So it seems like we have about a 45-second delay. That's a long delay. Oh well, we'll deal with it. I've never actually been to Toronto, but I've had friends and family connections there for a long time. I know it's a very cosmopolitan city. All right, here we go. All right, Sarah, let's have a look. See what's going on. I did a very extreme cut because I want things to be pristine. Cheers, Sarah. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at the surrounding energy, the influences. I always default to the planets, of course, as you know. Sorry, I just saw something on the screen. Elizabeth, it's too late. I'm not taking any more readings tonight, okay, Elizabeth? But I would be very happy to meet up with you in the middle of the week, and we'll take care of that, all right? No problem. So, over here, I look at this card. It's kind of like environmental influences. Ultimately, it's sacred geometry. It's what's going on in the planets, and how does that affect all of us in the world, but you as an individual. Okay, it's still the same energy, but each one of us experiences energy, how we receive it in different ways. Over here. So the Queen of Cups energy. To me, it feels like, to me, this is very reassuring. It gives me a feeling that you're in your own way that is perfect for you. You are very, very well aligned. I would say, I mean, this is going to sound like, magic or whatever, but in your own way, you are very, very well aligned with the elements right now. Okay, so we got all this stress here. We got all this stress here. We got this finger of God here. Massive wall of oppositions here with relationships, okay? And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 retrogrades right now. But you're okay. What this tells me is that, like, your default setting is basically like you're just naturally a loving being. You are loving, you are loved. Okay? That's just how it is. Perhaps in previous lifetimes you've done a lot of homework on yourself, and in this lifetime it's pretty straightforward. Yes, you're going to have all your challenges. Yes, you're going to have millions of stress factors here and there. Money, relationships, housing, weather, climate, politics, finances, whatever it is. You're going to deal with that in your own way, in your own life, in your own world. And the Queen of Cups energy is, to me, it's a very powerful affirmation that you're already deeply tuned in, whether you like it or know it or not. And then you end up with this big question, huge, sorry about that, huge question mark. Okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? Okay, it's the same question mark that everyone else on planet Earth is having at the same time, so don't worry about it. You don't have to worry. It's like your default setting is to love and be loved. It's to be loving, be loved. You choose love as the default setting. Now that doesn't translate into like, it's not gooey romance. It's not like you're always going to be, let's say, on the, I don't want to get into the physicalities of things, but not on a live show. But with the Queen of Cups, to me it feels like it's an affirmation that, like, all you need to know right now is that you're already very well aligned. And so you're just left with a handful of questions like, well, okay, so what does anybody do, or what do I do, or what does Sarah do when you're already well aligned? It's still a question. Just because you're well aligned doesn't mean you can just sit back and kind of go, oh yeah, I got this. I can do whatever the fuck I want right now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna just abandon my babies. I'm gonna go have some orgies. I'm gonna go and burn up some credit cards. No. Not that at all. It's like No insult, Sarah, but it's, to me, it's the energy of like pets and animals, because they're very, very pure. They're very, very pure. So that's the energy that I'm sensing from you. It's just like, it's like, the way I feel it here is that I'm looking at the Queen of Cups, and that's you as like your default setting. It's just like, I am loving and I'm loved. Like, you don't even have to know that that's your default setting. It's just like, there's 3 cats here. I love these 3 little cats, and each of them is very, very different. But what I can tell you for sure is that the only thing that they know is love. Being loving and being loved. Anything that disturbs that makes them retreat. It's very, very simple. Okay? So I feel it's sort of no insult, okay? I'm not saying you're a pet or you're an animal. All I'm saying is that your default setting is very kind of pure, and it's just the next question. Like, there's little Bubba. I know for a fact that little Bubba the cat is very nearby right now, wondering like, it's past my dinner time. When am I going to get fed? When is my human going to feed me? It's not because he's selfish. It's just because he's a very loving little creature. And it's the same for Boo Boo. It's the same for Bonnie. It's just loving. It's very, very pure. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say here. Okay? With the Queen of Cups. It's very, very pure. And then the question is, what happens next? Well, I guess another way to add a layer to it is that being the purity of this Queen of Cups energy is not something that you would brag about and show off there like, hello everybody, like, hello, hello, I am so loving, I am so pure, I'm so magnificent, blah 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 blah. I am loving and I'm loved. It's not something that you would display. It's just the default setting, which could be more or less invisible to the rest of the world. Okay? Let's have a look. What's the problem here? What's the situation itself? Okay. So this is a very pure, very simple energy. This is the Sun card. And it's very much about happiness. Your happiness, the happiness of the world around you. My feeling is that what this is really about is confusion. There's a confusion like, I'm Sarah Lake Mitchell, okay? I got my kids. There's my husband with his YouTube account, and I'm going through that right now. And I'm hanging out with all these lovely people at Lumination. It's just us, and like, why would I even bother to get a tarot reading in the first place? Because this is my natural default setting. I'm loving and I'm loved. And yet here you are asking questions. And so it comes down to happiness. Like, how do you define happiness? It's very, very simple. And it's like, in a way, that's the only thing that counts. Because when I look at this card, this energy of happiness is a direct consequence of being loving, choosing to be loving, in which triggers like physics. It's like physics. Be loving, be loved. Be loving, be loved. And so you keep going that direction. And so for you, that's your default setting. And yet you're looking at the world around you like there's something really out of whack. Like, here's this energy of happiness. Like it's almost like, Sarah, you already know. Despite whatever chores, burdens, tasks, responsibilities, commitments you have in your life that stop you doing the most self-indulgent things you could possibly want to do in the moment. It's like you understand the nature of happiness without having to talk about it or preach it or anything. It's just like actions speak louder than words. Like, well, it's so simple. Be loving, be loved, and it turns into happiness. Now, happiness also includes the ability to cope with all the pain and suffering that goes on in your life, in your world, that could, in theory, dissolve or diminish or take away your happiness. Okay? So when I see this over here, the Sun card for you, there's this like big question mark. It's almost like you're looking at the rest of the world around you like, what the fuck is going on out there in planet Earth? There seems to be so much chaos, pain, loss, suffering. What the heck is all of that? What is all of that? It's almost like it does not compute. It does not compute. What's the problem here? It's almost like you're one of the, it's like this, in terms of the percentile, the human population, okay, Sarah, it's like you're like one of the people. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're getting tested or injected. It doesn't matter whether you're getting the tests and the injections or whether you're not getting the tests or injections. You're already above that. It actually doesn't matter. Like, I'm just doing what I feel is good and right for me and my family. And you're not swayed by, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're coming from here. So if you do what you have to do, and you do it from here. But when you look around, I mean, I'm not seeing cards of confusion here, but it feels to me that with the Queen of Cups, there's this huge question mark. Like when you look around you, like, oh, there's a lot of stuff that's actually not working really well. You're okay. You've got things dialed in, but to me it feels like it's almost like you feel strange and like wow, what gives me the right to be okay? What gives me the right to feel okay, like when I'm actually watching news or hearing stories of friends and family and it's so bad and so evil and so horrible? I know for a fact, because I watch certain sources of information, that there's a lot of really creepy, horrible stuff happening in Canada. But does that affect you personally? I don't think so. I think it's more like, wow, you're there. You've got this almost like, it's almost like you have this protective shield. Like the Sun card is so powerful. It's so simple. It's so pure. It's almost like you become untouchable. Okay? So that's kind of what I'm sensing here. And from your position of untouchability, you start to look around you and see the world like, oh my God, there's some really horrible, scary, creepy stuff going on out there. But then you've got this, okay? You got whatever the ingredients are. You're like your partner, your kids, home, and all of that. Seems to me like that's all pretty good. All right, what's the challenges here? Let's have a look. Okay, so I've been so supremely optimistic with all of this. The challenge is that deep down, you know, okay, this is the Queen of Cups here is very closely linked with the Seven of Pentacles, because the Queen of Cups is asking like what is out of whack here? What is not working? There's obviously so much that is working, but in order for you to live an optimal life, because that's your default setting, it means you're constant. It's almost like we're going back to what we talked about in the group reading for the masses. You got to go into that Virgo energy, like, oh my God. Like, if you took a snapshot of your world, you'd say, like, I have so much already. I'm so blessed. I'm so abundant. I am loving. I am loved. I know how that works. I get it. I understand it. I understand the physics. I understand the truth. I understand the spirituality. I understand the energy and how it works. Be loving, be loved. Fine. So it's like a recipe for happiness. So I understand happiness. That's my default setting. And why isn't everyone else like that? And so it's like you're starting to question the world around you. And then you realize, oh my God, now I've just realized I do have my own issues after all. This is like the fine-tuning. You know what I was talking about earlier, Sarah? I don't know if you saw that part of the show, but I was talking about this finger of God here. This is the finger of God. It's a very strong pressure onto this point here, and the message is like, people, you need to go deep down, and you learn how to, you need to learn it. I mean, I practice this anyway, and I've shared it with a few friends of mine. Like, I have this thing about clean as you go, clean up as you go, solve every puzzle as it comes to you, as much as you can while you can, rather than letting, it's like just imagine you are a restaurant manager, and all you care about is maximum profits, and you're treating your employees like slaves, and you're burning the ovens like torture, and maybe you're taking a lot of money in the cash register, but the kitchen is a disaster zone, the furnaces and the filters are a mess, and the freezers and all the employees are freaking out, and they're stressed out, they can't take it anymore. That doesn't work in the long run. With the Virgo energy over here, with the finger of God, it's a very methodical, meticulous process of clean up as you go. So my feeling here is that you're starting to see like, oh my God, I really do have a few issues in my life where I really, really do have to, I hate to say it, it's like a cleanup campaign. Ooh. It could be from the past. It could be to do with family, relatives, relationships, finances, credit card debt. It could be all sorts of stuff that has been neglected because you like to be happy. Your default setting is happy. Be loving, be good. But even in your best efforts, there are still things that are being neglected that eventually are going to need maintenance, okay? This is about self-care. Seven of Pentacles here is about very, very, to me it feels very much to do with health. Like, for example, if you are spending so much time and energy of taking care of your loved ones and your family and everything like that, to the point where your health is starting to suffer, that is a problem. That needs to be taken care of. It means you need to reprioritize everything so that you can actually do maintenance on yourself, so that you can amplify even further your abilities to be loving and be loved, and therefore generate more happiness in your life. Oh my God, Tarot Illumination, what are you saying? Well, I'm not going to repeat what I just said. Just play that back again if you have to. So how do we deal with this? Because most people don't want to do this. Most people do not want to do the cleanup campaign on themselves because it's just like, oh my God, I have to go back with all the retrogrades and take care of this, take care of that, clean up this, tidy up that, blah, blah, blah. Do the laundry, do the leftovers, sort out the unpaid bill, whatever it is. Just lots and lots and lots of little tiny things that pile up that were neglected that have to be taken care of. So how are we going to deal with it? Okay, Pentacles here. New starts and new beginnings. Okay, Sarah. To me, it looks like this is a really strong message. The way to improve your happiness going forward is to understand that you're already in a good spot. Yes, the rest of the world, the rest of the planet is dealing with all sorts of horrible things. We talked about that in the group reading. But your mission right now for yourself is to focus absolutely, totally, and completely on your world, your microcosm, especially your family finances, how things work in the home and the family, and tidy things up so that so that you can be happy more than before. Like if you're already happy, it's like you're on a perpetual commitment to have to maintain this. And the best way to maintain that is clean up as you go. So, because what happens is that your happiness becomes contingent upon the other things that impede your happiness. So with the Ace of Pentacles, it's just like, oh no, I get it. You start from scratch, you clean up as you go, and to me this looks like a real strong emphasis on personal, home, family finances. Like it's time to get a go really deep in, really tight with family finances. Like, where is all the money coming in? How does all the money coming in? Where does it sit? Where does it stay? How is all that money expended? Is it all happening in the most efficient ways possible? Are you like leaking money, bleeding money unnecessarily? Do you have all sorts of little small commitments and auto pay systems that are depleting your finances and you totally forgot about it? Do you have subscriptions out there to things that you don't really do anymore? All of that kind of stuff. It looks to me like it's a really good time to consolidate your finances, okay? Really, really, really dig into your finances. Look at where does every penny come from into the home and the family? Where does every penny go? Money in, money out. It's like accounting. It's time to do a brand new accounting. Start accounting from scratch. Like money in, money out. What's not working here? Okay, it's really time to do a cleanup. Maybe you got some old credit cards that need to be paid down, and you just get it over with. Just get rid of them, get it over with. Clean up, clean up, clean up, clean up, clean up, so that you can get as close as you possibly can to really pristine finances, so that you, your personal finances, and your family finances are all optimized as well as humanly possible between yourself, your spouse, all your commitments, joint finances, personal finances, all of it. It's really, let's make that a commitment starting on the new moon on the 6th and the 7th, okay? So from the 7th of October onwards, like now is the time to realize it and understand it, but you actually start activating this energy from about the 7th of October onwards. You give yourself a 2-week mission, a 2-week project. Okay, we're going to focus on the Sarah Lake Mitchell family finances. We're going to just clean up everything that's out of whack, out of alignment. Start a savings plan, start investing, look into cryptos, look into wealth management, blah, 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 whatever you have to do. Cut down overheads, cut down unnecessary expenses. It's an amazing thing when you get rid of unnecessary expenses. It can make you feel rich. You don't necessarily earn anymore, but you've cut down waste and you can feel more wealthy, more abundant. Okay? All of those kind of things. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. I hope that helps you. Hope that helps you and your family. That's it, folks. Readings are done. It's been a real pleasure, everybody. Thank you, Sarah. There we go. It is done. Cheers, everybody. I'm just going to hang out for a minute or so. Thank you, Sarah. It was a pleasure to read for you. I hope you get something out of it. What now? What now? What now? So, today is Sunday, 3rd of October in the Northern Hemisphere. It's already Monday in New Zealand. And we're heading into those couple of days just before the new moon. Personally, because I have a very powerful lunar influence in my astrological profile, what tends to happen to me personally is that everything kind of goes. It's like when the tide goes out, and then it goes out, and then it goes out. And then there's this big sort of eerie lull where it feels like nothing is happening. And then the tide starts to move up again. And then 2 weeks later, we reach the full moon. But right now, a day or two before the new moon, to me personally, it feels like so that's a very natural phenomenon. I feel it very strongly. It actually is pertinent to the whole of humanity, but a lot of people may not be aware of it. They don't feel it, or they don't know, or they don't care. It doesn't matter. I am extremely aware. But anyway, so if, for example, you've often wondered about that, like you look at your calendar like, the last couple of days I've been feeling really like, I just want to hide. I just want to do nothing. I don't want to speak to anybody. I don't want anybody to speak to me. I just want to mind my own business. I just want to like curl up and be invisible. That's perfectly natural and normal for this moment, okay? So, on Wednesday, roughly, for the whole world, we're reaching that new moon. And that's when we had that big cluster. Sun, Mars, Mercury, and Moon, all in Libra. That's a huge Libra cluster. So that's going to happen in your chart. Somewhere in your chart, wherever there's Libra in your chart, there's going to be a huge emphasis right there. And it's going to be opposing Chiron in Aries. Okay? And that exists in your chart somewhere. Okay, so I don't know. I guess the only way to deal with it on the individual level is to get a personal reading. Hint, hint. But for the time being, please allow yourself to just basically. It's kind of like the energy, like it's like feeling like you're wilting. Allow yourself to feel like you're wilting because you're going to blossom again. Okay. That's just the natural 28-day lunar cycle, okay? All right. It's been a blast. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to get out of here really quickly. I got to take care of Boo Boo and Bonnie and Bubba. And we've got to get some food organized. And we have to live through the next week. I have to listen to my own notes just like I mentioned them to you guys. Okay? Thank you, Sarah. So Elizabeth will meet up during the week. Also, Karen, we're meeting up during the week. No problems. Okay? All right, I need to exit here gracefully.